And good morning. Yeah, I'm live. Going live. Going live. Okay, well, we are live here on the 9th of February. Yeah. A week after the 2nd of February. Oh, boy. This has been a crazy week. Hold on. You know what? I forgot to get water. Hold on. I know. I'm not supposed to do that. Well, I hope your week has been going well. My week is kind of up and down. Let's see. I've sent out job interviews, job applications. I had one guy call me for an interview, but of course there was one thing I didn't have, so I haven't heard back from him. Yeah, they wanted somebody who's a Scrum Master. A Scrum Master, I'm looking this up, is the facilitator of an Agile development team. You know, it's another one of these goddamn crazy methodologies that have popped up in the business world that everyone seems to think if you don't know how to do this shit, you can't do your job. Here's a clue for you. There's a lot of people who do know how to do this shit that still can't do their fucking job. I know, because I've worked for them. So he's like, well, I had all the other qualifications, but he's like, are you a Scrum Master? Do you have a certificate? And I said, no. And I said, no, I've never had to. I go, when I've had to run projects, the only people who could go for that sort of stuff were like top executives. They wouldn't let the grunts who actually did all the work go for these things. And so he was like, well, could you apply for class right now and get it? And I was like, are you willing to pay for it? Because I got no money, dude. I said, I have no money. That's why I'm looking for a job. Yeah, I said, this is ridiculous. So they didn't get back to me. It was for Johnson & Johnson anyway. It was a big telecommunications project between the UK and the United States. And I have a feeling probably would have been over my head anyway. So, but bad news. I got a notice that I'm behind on my rent. Surprise, because I haven't paid it this month. And so the likelihood that I'm going to get an eviction notice in this upcoming week is like 100%. I'm going to actually research the eviction laws in Pennsylvania today so that they don't come up and say, you've got like 10 days to get out. And I'll go, no, according to the law, I've got like 30. So, suck a bag of whatever's. So we'll see. I'll see what happens. But yeah, it does look like I'm going to get evicted. So don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to keep doing this. I don't really have another place lined up for living. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's the way life's been going for me of late. And the interesting thing is, I don't really feel bad about it. Last year at this time, I'll be honest, I probably would have opened a wrist by now. Really. I mean, last year at this time, if this was happening to me then, the person I was back in February of last year, I'd be opening a vein. I really would. I'd just be like, fuck it. I don't care. The life is not worth living. And to be honest, I actually did have some of those thoughts and then just kind of blew it off. It's like, no. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't. But I'm going to hang in there and try to do whatever the hell I can. And that seems to be the thing that's getting to me now. I'm not sitting around in this existential dread filled with depression. I'm actually kind of, well, it's happening, and there's not a hell of a lot I can do about it right now. So, unless someone wants to, like, pay my rent today, if someone pays my rent today, I think I won't get an eviction notice. So, but yeah, we're talking $900. So, yeah, what can I say? All I know is when I leave the apartment from now on, from this point on, I'm taking my computer with me wherever I go, simply because I'm not going to run the risk that they're going to lock me out of the building and then say, well, you can't come back in. I was like, okay, well, I got my computer with me. That's all that matters. And I need the charger for my phone, so I'll make sure I always haul that shit with me wherever I go. And the only place I ever go anymore is practice. That's it. That's the only place I ever go anymore is down to Lancaster for practice. So, I'll just keep on doing what I do and see what happens. That's really all you can do at this point. There's not a whole hell of a lot else that I can do. I'm not going to rob a bank. I had hoped I would win the lottery, but maybe I'll get lucky and one of my teammates will take me in. I'll just tell them, I'll apply for Social Security. I'll get like $2,000 a month. I'll share it with you and your roommate. We'll split the cost. But you're going to have to suck me up until that time. We'll see. So don't feel bad about me, if any of you were to begin with. But it reminds me of a story that Harlan Ellison wrote. And Harlan Ellison wrote something. Gee, there's a surprise. He wrote like 1,500 stories in his lifetime. I think actually more, because he once said in the preface to one of his books that he actually had boxes of unpublished manuscripts that he had either started on and just decided it wasn't going anywhere, or he had finished and decided he didn't like the story. And he's got like drawers and boxes filled with unpublished manuscripts. So, this guy was always writing. And he had said, upon my death, I told my wife, actually at the time it was his secretary. He ended up, after being with his longtime secretary, he ended up marrying her, and he stayed married with her until the end of his life. So there was the match. Harlan finally found what he was looking for. Found a companion. But anyway, he told her, when I die, I want you to burn all this shit. I don't want anybody getting into these old stories and publishing them. But anyhow, he wrote this story once about this person who was really like suffering with depression and I guess you could say suicidal thoughts, because his life was just a complete freaking mess. Nothing seemed to go good for him. And he wondered why there was so much pain in the world that he had to deal with this. And then at the same time, they started having these mysterious flashes in the sky, like meteor storms. But nothing ever came completely to Earth. It all burned up in the atmosphere. And they were able to figure out that these were aliens that were coming into the atmosphere and burning up, and no one knew why. And finally, one managed to survive, and they talked to it, and they were asking it, why are you coming here? And they said, we come here to die because this is the best place in the universe. The universe is really filled with all sorts of pain and horror and misery, and Earth, out of all the places in the universe, is like the best place in the world, the best place in the universe. So we want to die here. So we burn ourselves up in the atmosphere, hoping, there will finally be a little bit of peace for us in the best place in the world. And this guy is left with the dread of, if our world is so bad, what the hell is the rest of the universe like? Got to think about that. It's probably not that good. So, and it was just a little story. I think that was in The Beast of Shot of Love at the Heart of the World. And it always stuck with me. Even though I only read that story one time, that one always stuck with me for some reason. I don't know why. I loved Harlan. I still do. I still love his work. Yeah. The one thing I had said was the greatest thing in the world and the worst thing in the world that could have happened to me would have been to have Harlan critique one of my stories. Because, one, it would have been the best thing in the world because I love Harlan. I always thought he was probably the greatest speculative writer ever. But at the same time, you dread a review. You dreaded a review from Harlan Ellison. Because if you know Harlan, if you knew Harlan, you knew, yeah, his critiques could literally be, they could be the kind that would make you want to toss yourself off the roof of a building. That was the thing. If Harlan hated your stuff, boy, did he hate it. But if he loved it, boy, did he love it. Yeah. Never got a chance to do that. Probably for the best. I don't think I would have impressed Harlan. But I was always impressed by him. Yeah. I actually had some guy give me shit one night because I said Harlan was probably the best writer in the world. He goes, no, he's not. He's not that great. He thinks he is. I said, yes, and he would spend an hour telling you why. If not longer. I said, yeah. There you go. So, poor Harlan. Oh, not poor Harlan, but yeah, the last few years of his life, he wasn't in real good health. So, and that's one thing I hope doesn't happen to me. When I go, I want to go like now. I don't want it to linger. I don't want it to draw out. I don't think I could actually take that. I think it would hurt too much. So there you go. So the bad news is out of the way. I hope I ain't brought you down. As Bono once said, am I bugging you, man? Don't mean to bug ya. Play the blues, Edge. Play the Edge blues. Play the blues, Edge. I don't know that Edge knew how to play the blues. I don't think so. I love watching the movie. I'm all over the place today, but I loved watching the movie Rattling Home when they were playing with B.B. King. And B.B. King's like, I'm not real good on chords. I just play lead. And Bono's like, don't worry, Edge will take care of the chords. And he did. The greatest, I think the greatest line in there is he's reading the lyrics when Love Comes to Town. And he reads them and he looks out and he goes, man, these are some heavy lyrics for a guy your age. And I'm sitting there thinking, if B.B. King is looking at you going, these are some heavy ass blues lyrics, you've you've kind of made it. You know, these are some heavy lyrics. Anyway, so what's good? I do have some good in my life. And it goes back to some of the stuff I was talking about last week. So, Wednesday night, I had my official scrimmage assessment. Thursday night, I also got this. We were doing a drill and I took a hit. We actually had to take forward-leaning hits like this from skaters coming at us at speed. And I took a hit like this. And the skater that hit me kind of went up and hit me right in the I think she got me here with her elbow pad, but she hit me with her arm in my throat. That was sort of like, and as she's pushing me backward, she's going, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry," and I'm like, "Don't worry about it. Just push." Yeah, fun times. But anyway, Wednesday night I had my official scrimmage review. Yeah. Oh boy. It was. I was nervous. It was weird. I was nervous. I hadn't been that nervous the week before, and I was a little nervous when we got down to this one. So I got out there and I did my best. You know, that's really all that anyone can expect of you, is that you do your best. And I played jammer twice because I had to. I was being assessed on actually being a jammer. So I had to go out there and be jammer at least a couple of times so people could see me. I got 3 penalties. 2 of them happened while I was jamming. I had 2 forearm penalties, and one of them, actually all 3 of them I knew for sure. The first one was really stupid because I was actually breaking out of the pack. And I mean, I had the whole track wide open. I was breaking out of the pack. There was no one in front of me, and I laid my arm on the back of one of the blockers as I was pushing out, and they called me on a forearm, that's exactly what it is. I was like, oh Jesus. You know, it was a legit call, and I knew I screwed up. I was like, okay, and I went to the penalty box and came back out. But I knew, it was just like, oh my God, I know I did that. If I hadn't have done that, I would have been lead jammer. And then once when I was blocking, I forearmed the jammer. And somebody was actually watching me, and she said she saw me throw my arm up in the air as the whistle was being blown. She says, you could tell by the look on your face you knew you had forearmed her. And I did. I just got off the track and took off. And then the third time I was the jammer, and I just barely stepped off the track. And it was one of those, you step off the track and you step back on, and instantly in my head, I'm thinking, I hope our head ref didn't see that. Of course, the head ref is standing right here, and I hear, red 882, cut. And the thing was, when I went off the track, I mumbled to myself. I was going back to the penalty box. I was going, yeah, I knew that was coming, like that, which is kind of a no-no. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be stolic about this. When you get a penalty, you go to the box, you keep your mouth shut. That's it. So afterwards, I was told, all the coaches were going to get together and review my stuff, so they couldn't give me an assessment right then and there on Wednesday night. And I was like, the whole time, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And my one top coach, Brawless, she asked me, so how do you think you did? And I said, I don't think I did as well as I did the week before. And I explained why. And I said, I don't know what it was. I said, it just seemed like there were times when I was just off on my game tonight. And I said, it could have been because I was actually working more with a lot of the players who are on the blitz. And a lot of them I don't know. I mean, literally don't know them. And I haven't done much work with them. So I don't know them as well as I know a lot of the other vets who are on the All-Star team. And I said, I think that could have been it. I was just kind of thrown because I really didn't know their rhythm yet. I didn't know how they were going to play. And I said, maybe that threw me a little bit. I said, I got better as time went on. But the first few times I went out, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing because I really wasn't certain what everybody else was going to do. And that's just me. I mean, that's just not their fault. I said, that's the thing. They've played together. They've been playing together for a year or more. I'm just now stepping in. So I'm kind of learning as I go along. And, she was like, yeah, I can understand that. I said, I'll see how it goes tomorrow. So I went back the next night. And I'm even more nervous now because I'm like, oh my God. Am I going to do this? Am I going to pass? Everything is a test at DDR. It really is. Everything is a test. So Punxsutawney, yeah, 3 words, Punxsutawney. She's a talk coach, and she says, "Let's talk." I was like, "Okay, can we go down here and talk? Let's get away from everybody." So we went down and we talked, and she was telling me everything that was going on, and I was really surprised because I could see my sheet, and a lot of it was 3s. I had a few 4s. They said my communication was really good, and my teamwork seemed really good. I seemed to work well with the team. Where I fell down was basically on the jamming side. Forearms. I wasn't back blocking. That was a good thing. I didn't get bad marks on back blocking. And I said I specifically tried not to back block anybody. I was really thinking about that. But the one thing I said I noticed was when I was jamming, when I go in for my first pass, my initial pass, I tend to have my arms up. And then when I get through the pack and come back for my scoring pass, I'll have my arm down as I go in. I said, I don't know what it is. It's like, oh, now I've got time to think about it. So let me get my arms into position. But yeah, they said, you got to watch the forearms. There wasn't really, I don't remember if I got a 2 in swimming or not. But yeah, it was like the forearms were bad. And they got me on hustle back to the penalty box. And I agreed with them. I said, yeah. And I didn't tell them that part of the problem is my groin muscles were so sore that it was hard to get up to speed. It really was hard to get any speed. But yeah, I need more hustle when I go back to the penalty box. So I got like 3 2s overall, but the rest were 3s, and I had like a couple of 4s. So it wasn't too bad. And there's a couple of things I'm going to touch with Punk if I can at our next practice, because I want to specifically see how I should be doing it. There was something she talked about in the cut-in, and I think I know what it is. I'm not cutting back into the track fast enough when I get run back. As jammer, I got run back a couple of times. And I know part of the problem is I jet onto the track and then do a transition stop and then take off. Well, that eats up time. That eats up like 3 seconds right there. You've only got 2 minutes to do stuff. So if I'm not cutting back onto the track real quick and going after the pack, if I'm just coming onto the track and then stopping and then taking off, that's 3 seconds I've wasted. That's 3 seconds the pack is going to get further from me, which means I've got to skate harder to get up to them. So I think that's what she's talking about. I think it was like your cut back into the track was kind of weird. That you're taking too much time to get onto the track and into position to go after the pack again. And I'm going to have to, I'll work with her on that. And they said there was something else I was doing too. I think I know what she meant by the spinning around, because one of the things I'll do is I'll actually come up and do like a 360 turn to stop myself and then get into position. Because I feel more comfortable with that than doing a plow, which I don't do very well. That's just a confidence thing. It really is. It's a confidence thing that I'm not going to be able to get it done right. So after it was done, after we went through everything, she said, coaching has discussed your scores. And while there are things here that you need to work on, and most of them, like I said, most of them were in jamming. And I told her, I says, in the last 2 weeks, I've been a jammer. I mean, like a competitive jammer, more in the last 2 weeks than I had in like a year with hard. Seriously, I played jammer 6 times in 2 weeks. I think like the most I ever did was with hard. I was a jammer like twice in scrimmages. Seriously. I mean, I did jamming also in drills, but it's not the same thing. Anyhow, she said coaching talked, and we went over your scores and decided that even though there are a few things you need to work on, and you know what they are now, we've decided to pass you out of the TOT program and move you into DDR as a full-time skater. Basically, I graduated. I passed all my minimum skills. I passed scrimmage assessment, and basically I was cleared to now become a skater with the team, a full skater, which means I can participate in their scrimmages. And more importantly, I can try out for a team, which there's a team tryout coming up. And I already told one of the coaches, I said, yes, I will be trying out for a team. We'll see how I do. So I was real happy. Part of me wanted to cry, but I was way too excited, and I hugged Punk, and I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then the next question that came out was, am I going to be cleared for Battle of the Freshies, which is next Sunday? And she said, we talked about that too, and we realized you're playing with people who are all freshies. You're not playing with vets. You're playing with people that are all freshies. So we were like, yeah, what the hell, go. So that's another thing I'll get to here in a sec. But probably the best part was Punk and I went out. We did like 3 fast laps for warm up and stuff like that, and came back. And when we were done, Punk introduced me. She says, Cassidy has graduated from the TOT program. She has moved up to a DDR skater, and congratulations and stuff like that. And people applauded. And then I got asked the question I've been waiting to hear for so long. So, what's your derby name? And I told him it's Nomi Snarks. That's my derby name. So during the Thursday night practice, I kept hearing, come on, Nomi, Nomi, Nomi. And the people did. They said, how do you want to be addressed? And I said, you can either address me as Nomi, or I pointed at Venom. I said, I know you said you're just going to call me Snarks. I said, I don't care. That's fine. I said, as long as you use my derby name. Yeah. So yes, I earned my derby name. Really, I've earned this son of a bitch. I earned it. It's if you some of you have seen my Facebook page. You'll know my Derby name is now on my Facebook page under my nickname. So you can find me that way. My teammates are now calling me Nomi. Some of them say it's probably going to take, a little while to get used to stop calling you Cassidy and start calling you Nomi. So yeah, and I got this. But more importantly, next week, I get to play. I'm going to a Battle of the Freshies in Hagerstown. Open to anyone who has been in fewer than 3 bouts. Me. 3 bouts or fewer. We actually have one person on our team who says she's done exactly 3 bouts. So I joked with her. I said, "Oh, you're the vet. You're the vet in the group." We had our super secret group on Facebook, so we can sit and talk to one another. And me and like 4 other players were doing that last night. We were discussing what we're going to do when we go down to Battle of the Freshies. And one of the players I already kind of half know because she plays for Keystone. So I've seen her play, and I even told her that. She says, "I've been in 1 bout." I go, "Yeah, and if that bout," she was like, "I've been in 1 bout. I don't know how effective I'm going to be." I go, "If that bout was with Dutchland, I saw you. You'll be effective. Don't worry." And she's like, after I told her who I was, she was like, "Oh, yeah, I remember you now." I said, "Yeah, you'll do good." I said, Keystone, they're another league in this area. I said, "You guys are great." I said, "Dutchland has a lot of respect for Keystone. Don't worry." Because you guys played us, and, man, you played a hell of a game. So 2 of my teammates are also going down. Venom's going down, and Tempa of Doom is going down. And so we've already talked. We're going to carpool together. Doom's going to drive, and the 3 of us are going to go together at the same time. They're having to come through Harrisburg because really the fastest way to Hagerstown, Maryland is by coming up 283 from Lancaster, getting on I-83, and then going out to I-81 and taking that south. Well, since you have to do that, I said, I'm right off of 83. I mean, it's like 2 minutes to get to my apartment complex, 2 minutes to get back on to 83. So I said, in 5 minutes, we're done. Don't worry about it. I said, it'll be quick, off and on. So we're going to go down. We're not on the same team. There are 4 teams. There are actually 49 players. We had 50, but one player had to drop out because she says, "I've got a shoulder injury and it's preventing me from playing." So we have 49 players in 4 teams. One team has 11 players. My team has 12 players. 2 teams have 13. There's a possibility that they may actually move one of the players from the blue or yellow team, which have 13 players, over to the white team, which has only 11. I'm on the black team. So we have black, white, blue, yellow. And I'm in the black team. Doom is in the yellow team, and Venom is on the blue team. And we're playing 6 20-minute periods. And the way it's set up is that every team will play in at least 3 periods. So you end up playing an hour, no matter what. It's just that it's done in 20-minute periods. And probably what they do in that instance, last year when I went down to watch Battle of the Freshies, they played in 30-minute periods, and you were allowed 4 penalties per period. If you got more than 4 penalties, once you got your 4th penalty, you were out of that. Now, they let you come back in when you played again. I imagine this time with 20-minute periods, you're going to get 3 penalties, and that's it. You get a 4th penalty, you're out, Or I don't know how it's going to work. But yeah, probably the maximum is going to be like 3 penalties. And then if you get a 4th, you're probably out. So That's my take. But yeah, we were talking last night. We decided that since none of us are really jammers, we're all blockers. But I said, last year it looked like anyone who wanted to jam could jam. So we're the ones that were in our group last night were saying, let's rotate so we can get that experience. Everybody play jammer at least once, or play pivot or something like that. And I think that's what we're going to end up doing. Like I said, we talked about it last night, so we're already kind of like formulating as a team, what do we want to do? And that's what I said. I went last year and I said it looked like if you wanted to be a jammer, you could be the jammer. We don't really have, of the people that are in the group now, I haven't seen anyone who's like a dedicated jammer yet. So, but yeah, going down, gonna play. It's gonna be interesting. It really is gonna be interesting. And I can't wait for it, because this is the thing I've been waiting for. Last year, my goal had been playing Battle of the Freshies, and I couldn't. I didn't certify. And I said, this year I'm going to play in Battle of the Freshies. I don't care. I will make it. Now, if coaching had told me, no, you can't, even though you passed your scrimmage assessment, we're not certain you'd be good enough yet, I would have had to say, okay. And I would have told them, I can't make it. I would have said, I got an injury or something like that. So, because you don't argue with coaching. Coaching tells you don't go, you don't go. But they let me go. And I'm actually getting a practice credit for it. Yeah, I don't have to go to practice that Sunday because it's next Sunday. So I don't have to go to practice that day. But since I'll be playing at Battle of the Freshies, I get credit for actually being at practice. Our team is really good about keeping track of where people are at in terms of how many practices you attend and all that other stuff. So I will actually get credit for being in a practice. Don't have to go to practice. And I actually asked Doom that, and I think Venom, don't want to call her by her real name. She had actually seen it too. And I said, are you guys actually going to go to practice? And she said she might. She doesn't know. I said, if I do go, I'm not going to skate. I'm just going to watch the practice. It's just going to be there to see what everybody's doing and watch. But I said, I'm not taking the chance of getting on skates that day. I said, on top of which, you're going to get all hot and sweaty. And then what? Your gear's all sweaty. So what are you going to do? You're going to go home, you're going to take a shower, and then you're going to repack all your gear, which is still going to be, damp from sweating, and then drive to Maryland. And see, the doors open for us. We're allowed to get there at 4:30. I'm an hour and a half from Hagerstown. So I would leave here about 2:30 to get there. And that's what I'm going to tell them. Say, basically, if you pick me up around 2:30, we'll get to Hagerstown on time to be there when the doors open for us. Which means they have to leave Lancaster about 45 minutes before they get to me. So they're actually leaving about 1:45. And practice for us on Sunday gets out at 12:30. So it doesn't make any sense for any of us to go to practice that day. Yeah. It just is sort of like, no, we'll take the day off because we're playing. And some of our teammates are actually going to come down and watch us. They are beginning to make plans to have several of our players come down and watch us play, which is going to be kind of intimidating. But yeah, finally getting to play. I'm finally getting to live this portion of a dream that to go from my first recruitment night, May 30th, 2017, to the point where I graduated from a program that says, yes, we are confident that you can play. And that happened on February the 7th, 2019. It took 619 days, or 1 year, 1 year, 8 months, and 9 days. And as I stated in a Facebook post yesterday, I can remember in like late 2017 that I wanted to quit simply because I kept saying, I can't keep doing this for 2 years. Do you really think I'm going to get better over the course of 2 years? Because I'm going to get older. And do you really think I'm going to get better? Well, the truth is, I got better. And part of it was I just started pushing myself harder. It still didn't keep me from almost wanting to quit. In August of last year, honestly, I nearly quit. I had gotten to the point where I felt like I just wasn't making any progress. And I told my then teammate Ariel, I had a talk with her. I said, "Could we do lunch? I want to do lunch. I want to talk to you," because she was a freshie coach, and I said, "I just don't know what to do anymore." I said, "I really feel like I'm not making any progress. I'm not going anywhere, and I should quit." I said, "I don't feel like I should even bother coming anymore. It's just I'm not seeing it." That's the thing. I told her, I said, "I'm not seeing any progression." And the thing that she asked me was, if you certify, are you just going to play one game and that's it? I said, no. I said, I'm going to try to play as long as I can. She goes, then why quit? She goes, okay, so it takes you another 6 months to certify. But you still will be certified. You can still play. You may play next year, but you'll be playing. So don't quit. And guess what? I had a discussion with her in August. February is 6 months later. And she even made the statement, maybe it's going to take you another 6 months to certify. And she was right. It did. It took me 6 months more to certify and become eligible for playing. So I have to give credit to Ariel on that. Ariel Wildfire, number 23 with Hard. I understand she's moving back up to upstate New York, so I don't know if she's still with the team or not. But yeah, she convinced me to stay because last August I was ready to just drop out. I was ready to drop out and give up. I just felt like I'm not seeing any progress. I know now why I wasn't seeing any progress, but that's another story. But that's the thing. She kept me from giving up on my dream. And when I got to DDR, they kept me from giving up on my dream too, because they were constantly pushing me. They were constantly encouraging me. And it paid off. You know. There was one instance when I could have found myself not playing for DDR. And the comment was made, we want you as a player. We want you. Sorry. You know, we want you as a player. We don't want to see anything bad happen to you. We don't want to see you leave. So we want you as a player. And now I am. And maybe in a couple of weeks, I'll be told you made the Blitz. Because the tryout for the Blitz is the day after the Battle of the Freshies. And oh my God. Oh, yeah, I've already been told, yeah, we're having tryouts on Monday nights. If you want to try out for the Blitz, you can come. I was told that in a PM. I was like, yeah, I'm trying out for the Blitz. Don't worry, I'll be there. So, yeah, Monday night practice. After the Battle of the Freshies. Oh boy. You are just asking for it. So, and I didn't give up on my dream. At least not this dream. I wanted to a couple of times, but I didn't. And I'm seeing it through to the end. And like I stated, getting to the Battle of the Freshies, really in a sense, it's the end of that first part of my Derby journey. When I started, it was, I want to be able to play. And then as it went on, I was like, I want to certify in 2017 so I could play in the 2018 Battle of the Freshies. It didn't happen. And a lot of shit happened to me in 2018. Not all of it good. In fact, most of it wasn't good. But when the option came up, when I was starting with DDR, and the option came up to sign up for the Battle of the Freshies, I actually talked to coaching. And I said, do you think there's a possibility that I would be able to play? And coaching at that point, Brawless actually, she said, I'll tell you what. Why don't you just go ahead and sign up? Because the worst thing that could happen is you won't be cleared all the way to play, and you'll have to tell them you can't make it. I was like, okay, yeah. It's like if it happens, you just say, hey, something came up. I can't make the bout. And that could have happened Wednesday night. They could have basically told me you can't play. And like I said, if that had happened, I would have said, okay, I understand. And I would have contacted them and said, look, I can't come. Something's come up and I just can't make it. But I finally hit this goal. I finally hit the goal of passing my minimum required skills and getting, I guess you could say, certified to play, which is what my scrimmage assessment was. I was certified to play. And now I'm going to play in the Battle of the Freshies. It took a year to get there, but I'm doing it. And it brings me up to probably what has kind of become my favorite quote, especially in this sense. It's not my absolute favorite quote, but I think it's become my second favorite quote. And last year, with great fanfare and a lot of butthurt, pissing, and moaning, Nike released their Athlete of the Year video, and they said the person who was basically their man of the year was Colin Kaepernick, who we all know, most of us probably all know, has not played for a year. He left the NFL after his contract expired, and nobody picked him up basically because he was the one that started the whole process of kneeling during the national anthem. And, he's been called everything from a disrespectful son of a bitch to whatever else, probably many things a lot worse. But he's also one guy who has put his money where his mouth is. He literally is donating as much of his money as he can to different charities. And he likes to get a lot of his friends to do the same thing. I saw one on his website where he did, I think it was called the 10 for 10 challenge. He put up $100,000 and contacted different people and told 10 of them, if you put $10,000 towards your favorite charity, I will match it. And he did that, and he showed all 10 people who he matched and what charity they gave their money to, which is, you think about it, that's kind of a cool concept. And we found out later that Nike had actually been keeping him on the payroll. They had been keeping up their endorsements with him and paying him just so they could put him on the 2018, Athlete of the Year thing. And I love the ad. I've watched it several times. I even posted it on my wall. But there's a quote that Colin uses. I don't know if he wrote it or somebody wrote it for him. It really doesn't matter. It's what he says. And, basically the whole concept was believe it. First, one of the things he says is believe in something even if it means giving up everything. I can almost relate. Probably not in the same way he can, but I can almost relate. But the quote that I remember, and I'll probably post this on my Facebook page and probably on my Instagram with a certain caveat. The quote I remember is, don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough. It's not enough to have a crazy dream. What you really want to do is, can that dream be pushed just a little further? In order to make it something even more. My original dream had been to certify and play. And I had focused on Battle of the Freshies 2018 as a way to do that. I'll be 60 years old. I'll be the oldest one there. Didn't make it. Had a nervous breakdown, basically. And eventually ended up in a mental hospital. And had a lot of other bad shit happen to me. But I kept pushing. And now at 61, I made the Battle of the Freshies. And I will struggle. I will fight to get on a team. And I will fight to actually play. So it's not that your dream is crazy. Is it crazy enough? And I think I kind of fulfilled that criteria. It was crazy enough. But could it even be crazier? Yeah, it could. I'm playing with my hair because I got strands. It could be crazier. There could be something in here that could be just a little crazier. I just haven't figured out what that is yet. The craziest part of this dream would be next year, if I'm still playing, which I hope I am, to say, who wants to try out for the travel team? And I would go, I want to try. Maybe I won't make it. But making the travel team and playing with the All-Stars, that would be some crazy shit. Is that crazy enough? Maybe. Or maybe there's something crazier. I just haven't found it yet. So, if you're watching this video and you happen to be anywhere near Hagerstown, Maryland, like say within an hour of it, because if I'm driving from an hour and a half away to come play, you can come too. One of the players on our team is actually driving up from, I believe it's Fayetteville, North Carolina. Yeah, she's actually driving up from like northern North Carolina through Virginia to come to the game. She said, I'm driving up Sunday. I'm going to play, and I'm going to sleep in Hagerstown on Sunday and then drive back Monday. If we can do that, and you live like an hour away from Hagerstown, you can come out and watch us play too. That's how important it is for us that some of us are driving from like an hour and a half, or like my teammates, they're driving from more than 2 hours away to come to this game because it's important to us. We want to do this. So there you go. So if you're within an hour of Hagerstown, come out and watch us play. Have fun. And that's it. That's it. I hope to be back out here next week. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. I'm just going to have to play it by ear. By this time next week, I will not have played yet. So I won't have any updates on that, but we'll see what happens. I'll try to be out here next week. Just remember, this is going to be a week-by-week thing. So if one day I just mysteriously don't appear anymore, you'll know why. Okay. So take care.